Hello, everybody. This is your teacher, Julian Marin. And today we're going to be reviewing Martes de Prueba number 3 for ninth grade. This is for the Instituto Chipre 2025. So now we're going to start presenting. Let's give a look of what kind of exercises we're going to solve today. Remember, that is the first thing you need to understand, identify what type of exercise solving. As you can see, in Pruebas Saber 11, the English section has different characteristics, different kind of exercises. So that is part of the training. Remember, having a good result in the English section in Pruebas Saber 11 will be a combination of having the communicative skills in the English language, in this case, knowing vocabulary, critical reading, reading comprehension, mainly understanding how also the language is used in different contexts, identifying the correct vocabulary, the appropriate vocabulary, and also the proper way to use the language. So let's start right here. I'm going to increase a little bit so we can focus on this section. Right here, you can see that we have two different exercises. On the first exercise, this is a matching, okay? So to the left, we have three, let's say, definitions, right? Right here on the left, got three definitions. These are not literally questions, right? These are definitions. And to the right, we got four concepts, right? So we got three on the left, four to the right. That is not an error. That is not a mistake. That is fully intentional, and that is to increase the difficulty of the exercise. So if you read to the right, what kind of words we have here, it is a good strategy. And then you'll see happiness, sadness, apathy, and anxiety. The good news is that all of them could be classified in a group of words. Let's say that they have one thing in common, is that all of them are emotion. And then you can confirm that to the left when you read these descriptions or these definitions, where you can see emotion here, emotion, and emotion. So yes, definitely we're describing emotions. So let's check. Number 21, it says, in this emotion, you feel the stress of mind caused by fear or misfortune. Okay, fear and misfortune. And it is distress of mind. So those are the elements that you need to focus on. Distress of mind fits more like with anxiety. Okay, that is the first one that comes to my head. But anyway, let's read the other two. 22. This emotion is caused by an event that makes you feel an emotional pain. So first we got here an event, something that happens, and as a result, you got the feeling of emotional pain. Okay, so sadness and anxiety are negative emotions. Okay, so you're suffering. Only that the suffering is different, or we have different characteristics or different, let's say, intensity, right? But let's finally check 23 so we can have a good idea what options we got to the right that could be good prospects and what definitions we have to the left. When you exercise this when you experience this emotion, you lack interest in things that are exciting. So over here, this is very particular. Things that are exciting, normally you will feel excited, excited. So what could be the opposite of that feeling? If you're not feeling excited, how you feeling? So happy? I don't think so. Apathy would be directly the one associated with this description. Okay, so let's go back to 21 so we can answer in order. Okay, so let's erase this. First, in this emotion, you feel the stress of mind caused by fear or misfortune. That would be anxiety. The second one, describing an emotional pain that is more accurate with sadness. And 23, talking about um, lack of interest. Definitely. We're talking about apathy. So right there you have the answers for question 21, 22, and 20. Very good. Let's check right now the other section of the test. Over here we got question 24 and 25. Let's. In the instructions, they say, we got two conversations, okay? We're going to complete the conversation. And we got conversation starting right here and continuing here with the three options. So what is important and what is my suggestion in this case? In this case, you need to be very, very attentive to the content. What is happening? Where is happening? Who are talking? Trying to answer as many questions as possible in that case to yourself so you can understand the content. Let me show you with this example. 24. Your performance in the marathon was awesome, Freddie. So context, where, on what? Where? We are participating, we are in the context of athleticism, marathon, right? And somebody is congratulating Freddie. Freddie is receiving a positive feedback because of his performance. Awesome. Awesome is an adjective that is positive. Awesome, great, outstanding, amazing. Okay. So how this conversation could continue in a logical and coherent way? A, option A, I love to watch marathons on TV. I have done it since I was 6. So, okay, even though we're talking about marathons, we're not in a context of watching TV. We're talking about Freddie participating in a marathon. So this is not like a good option. But anyway, let's evaluate the answer. B, my father and I practiced in the Boston Marathon in 2022. Okay, we practiced. Okay. Anyway, this is not completely incoherent, but let's evaluate C. So if we can cancel C, then option B would be C. I've been training for the marathon for more than 6 months. Okay, so this one sounds a lot better, okay? If he has been training for 6 months, was because it was intended for this specific marathon, and his performance is just a logical result. So we can cancel A and B, even though in those two marathon was mentioned, but the correct answer will be C, the most coherent one. So what is the idea? When the responsible for designing these evaluations, these exercises, are trying to, what they're trying to do is to generate distractions, and for that they know they have to mention marathon, and probably if you don't have like a high level of understanding, probably you will be confused, and then that will be shown in the gift. So you need to train yourself with reading, a lot of reading, so you can identify those little elements, so you're not going to fall for that. Okay, and you can get those extra good marks for yourself. 25. Marcela, your new hair color is beautiful. How often do you dye it? So, what is the context? Hair color, beautiful. This is a compliment. Marcela is receiving a compliment from someone. Talking about what? Her color. But then there is a specific question. We need to focus. This here is context. But then we have a specific question that we need to answer. In this case, we need to identify if it says how often we need to focus on periods of time, right? Or let's say adverbs of frequency, probably we can anticipate, but that's what we need to find out in these three options. A, I usually color it once every 2 months. So this right here is a good prospect. I usually color it and then color it, right? Color diet is that strategy that people use or put into practice to change the color of the hair. So over here, notice that there also are checking your knowledge of vocabulary, even though color is mentioned only on the first part of this sentence or conversation. This other element is essential, understanding what dye means. It is the verb of painting or changing the color of your hair. So this one for me is a good prospect. But anyway, we should evaluate B and C. B, honestly, I prefer blonde, which is a specific color. Tall, thin girls. So this one is completely out of context. Nobody's talking about girls and likes and dislikes. Like, what are your, you feel attracted to girls, to boys, and their hair color, their height, tall, short, thin, if they are thin, if they're chubby. Nobody is talking about that. So definitely you should cancel B. It's completely out of context. And C, I wore a pink wig at every Halloween party. Okay, so this one is also out of context. Nobody is talking about Halloween. Nobody's talking about wigs. So wigs are those artifacts or objects that are used to cover, like in my case, I am bald, right? So I could wear a wig on top and everybody will think that probably I have long hair, right? But this is also very common in Halloween costumes. People use hats, masks, all kinds of elements to pretend they're someone else, right? But definitely this is out of context. The correct answer will be A, because of the reasons we have mentioned. Okay, so with this, we're finishing the review for today. Martes de Prueba number 3 for 9th grade. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember, like, subscribe, and promote so other people can benefit from this exercise. Thank you very much. I see you in the future.